There are lots and lots of ways how community music can be practiced. The most common, though, is the workshop. It's the bread and butter of community music practice, as we say in England. When it's done well, and if you're a little bit lucky, more good things can come out of a single workshop than in 1,000 good concerts. There's countless ways of running a workshop, and what works once may never work again because of 1,000 different factors. Your job is to be responsive to all of that. But to help you along, there's some basic principles. Here's 3 really important ones that you should never, ever, ever forget. Empowerment, or imagination, or trust, whatever you want to call it. Your primary goal is to empower people, to enable people to find their creative voice in whatever form that takes. If that's successful, then this can be truly life-changing for that individual, for that community. And you'll see it in their eyes when it happens, and it's magical. Everything that you plan to do then must somehow work towards this aim. Remember that it's not about you, and it's not necessarily about the music. It's always about them and the community. So how is what you're doing enabling that person or that group? And are you building trust along the way? Following on from this, just as a note, quality or success then is judged by how the participants are feeling, not on musical success. Though sometimes these go hand in hand, though sometimes the best moments of progression and development are when musically it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. And that's funny and brilliant. Second, the circle. In a circle, there is nowhere to hide, and everyone is equal, including you as a leader or a community musician or an outsider or whatever you want to call yourself. It also makes making music easy because everyone can be heard. There is never a good reason not to set up in a circle or as close to one as you can get in whatever way possible, in whatever space you have. So if you're in a classroom, move the desks out the way, move the furniture, get rid of the things in front of you, be open, be on one level as much as possible. Definitely try not to position yourself higher than the rest of the group because you are just one of the group. You're there to facilitate. If you're leading a workshop with children, for instance, and they're all sat on the floor, then sit with them on the floor. It may seem like a small and trivial thing, but it makes a massive difference to how you're perceived from within the group. And finally, evaluation. Evaluate. Groups and communities are really complex. So therefore, by necessity, community music is reflective practice. You have to constantly reflect and evaluate. Is this okay? Is this the right thing? Is it going well? How is everyone? You can do this formally at the end of a workshop when you sit down and have a meeting. That's very good. It could also take the form of your own sort of practice journal that's just for your notes. Both of those things are great and you should get into the habit of doing it. But it also happens throughout the workshop. When you're leading, is what I'm doing the right thing? What comes next? Are they okay? If you're co-leading with someone, ask them during the workshop. It's perfectly fine to say, how's it going? Is this okay? What's next? Or ask the group and they'll tell you if it's the right approach. Don't be precious. Listen. Be responsive. Take the criticism. And your workshops will be better for it. There is nothing worse than leading a workshop and running out of ideas and it all falling apart and you've got nothing left and you've still got an hour to go. And especially if that's because you missed something that happened. If you're constantly evaluating, there's less chance of that happening and your community will trust you far, far, far more. So good luck.